refresh this page so we know that we're on the Twitch. And it's all popping up. Everything's looking good. And send out the post and the tweet.
Don't forget we're live to the world, Ryan. You're like, arr, arr, arr.
That's okay. All right.
Dude, you're purple.
Sweet.
Uh-oh. Did we just lose Ryan?
We might have.
Loompa.
Well, we are streaming. We could start and he could join us. All right. This is the Closet Geek episode 106 for November 12th, 2015.
Closet Geek, coming to you each week in Closet Geek. All things of geeks critiqued in Closet Geek. Comics and games and tech in Closet Geek. Lego, Star Wars, Star Trek in Closet Geek. We are not nerds, we have some social skills to call our own. Closet Geek.
Hey guys, and welcome to the Closet Geek, where geeks come out, the podcast where four brothers have united their powers to become the four horsemen of geek to bring you the best and latest geeky news. I am your host, Barry Ricks, and with me I have my three brothers, John, Ryan, and Michael.
Hello.
Hey.
Kind of Ryan.
Ryan.
He's
Ryan,
loading.
we're having
Ryan
technical
was here.
difficulties.
Technical difficulties with Ryan, apparently, but
I don't know.
call
Skype didn't
dropped,
like
it
me
said.
today.
Oh,
His cat turned his computer off.
nice!
Oh. His cat turned his computer off.
Yeah.
That
He
is
just texted me,
perfect.
He's like,
You know, I
Cat's
thought
not sleeping
cats
yet.
only pushed glasses off of tables. Now they actually,
They're like, you're not paying attention to me. Computer
Yeah.
off. Just go over to the
be like,
power
I
strip and
think I'm
be
gonna
click.
put some tape over that. Yeah, go over to the power strip and be like,
Yeah.
take it, like it.
He'll be back. Once
He'll be
it's
back in a second.
Up and running.
But hey guys, how's it going?
Hey. Good.
Good.
Doing well.
Another
I was
good
just
week.
making sure to wish our sister a happy birthday.
Yep.
So she does respond to texts.
Happy birthday to our sister Wendy in Portland, Oregon. Shout out.
She's not gonna listen.
She's not gonna listen,
this.
but we
Oh.
can shout it out to her anyway. So, but anyway, let's go to the first segment of the show.
This week in geek.
This is This Week in Geek, where we talk about things we did geeky throughout the week, things we love, and things we could recommend for you to check out. So, did you guys have a geeky week?
Not much of
no.
a geeky week.
No,
I-
not really.
I did my traditional geeky things on a weekly basis with a few interesting notes.
I think.
Okay.
I haven't seen any of like this week's episodes of anything.
Yeah, me
I
either.
watched Flash, but
My work
I
schedule
need to
is
watch everything else.
yeah. My work schedule this week. I was working in the evenings and,
Oh, okay.
from like 3 to 11, and so usually when I work swing shifts, I don't get much TV time in.
Yeah.
But
Well, work was kind of crazy
Yeah.
for me this week too because last week I was in Dallas. That's why we recorded on Saturday. But
Right.
and so this week my boss is like, "Oh, by the way, I just had someone tell me we need to be at a meeting in Albuquerque like tomorrow." And I'm like,
Nice.
"Oh." And so she's like, "So can you drive to Albuquerque, spend the night, go to a 2-hour meeting and then drive back?" So basically I drove 10 hours this week for a 2-hour meeting.
yeah, nice.
I
Yeah.
hope you got paid for all of that.
Why couldn't you just telephone in?
It was like a conference. It wasn't just like a meeting.
Wow,
And
that's
we didn't
annoying.
technically need to be there, but a member of one of the
She
members
just
of our
wanted
corporation,
a presence.
they're
Yeah.
like, "You need
Yeah.
to be there," and we're like,
They
"Okay."
need to see you.
So
Man.
your cat turned off your computer, huh?
Yeah, he saw I was eating chips, and he's like, "Ooh, I want some."
And
So
jumped up onto
he jumped
the...
up onto it and pressed the button with his paw.
Nice.
Nice.
He's like, chip me now.
Yep.
You will give me chips. Power down. Boom.
So yeah, so I've really I think I did watch last week's episode of Doctor Who, but
Okay.
not this week's
let's
episode.
not even talking about that. I have only watched
Uh,
the first 2 episodes of the season. I haven't had a chance to
And-
sit down and watch the rest.
I'm still working through Fellowship of the Ring. They're currently
The book.
in,
Well,
Yeah.
you're
The
rereading the book.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
and so they in the book they just got to Lothlorien, and so they're currently talking to Galadriel and Celeborn, and that's about where I'm at in the
Cool.
book.
Yawn.
Cool.
Yeah, but that honestly,
That
other
was-
than
that was your week,
I
huh?
haven't really done much geeky
Wow.
stuff other than that.
Well, the one
it is
perk.
kind of a short week.
Yeah, the one perk about going on a business trip is I often watch a lot of shows. But this time I was like, I don't want to really watch anything, so I was just watching whatever was on TV. I actually watched a boxing match, which was kind of fun. But yeah, it was
Yeah,
awesome.
Ryan's the boxer.
It was like, it just made me be like, I want to do that. I want to box. Like, not necessarily competitively, but I've always wanted to take the classes. But so while I was passively watching TV, I had my iPad with me and I played several hours of Hearthstone yesterday.
Oh,
So I jumped back into Hearthstone.
Several hours.
did you
Wow.
try out the new adventure, the
That came out.
Explorers?
That came out today.
Oh, today. Oh, I thought it was okay. I thought it was
No,
last
it
week.
wasn't available last night, but it was
Okay.
it's available today, which is the new expansion that John is talking about, the Explorer's Journey. It's kind
Something like
it's
that.
kind of like a Indiana Jones-esque type feel
Right,
to it, and
right.
there's more trap card. There's gonna be like trap cards and stuff like that, and no, I played and I don't know. I still stink, or I just couldn't get. I probably played at least 5 or 6 hours of Hearthstone yesterday,
Wow.
and I couldn't get past level 18. I even like, maybe if I switch up my decks and try different things, and I got like new cards because I do my dailies, and finally get enough gold. I earned enough gold to get like 2 or 3 boosters yesterday, and bought some boosters from the newer edition of cards, and so I tweaked my decks up a little bit. But man, I would play against, and sometimes my deck would just rock people, and then I'd come across people that they must have been just starting for the month or something, but they have like these just crazy insane decks. Like this guy pulled out this this legendary hero card that says all your monsters or all your cards or something cost 1.
What?
Yeah. So when that happened, he must have had a full hand of legendary cards in his hand, because he's like boink boink boink, and all of a sudden like his whole board was just nothing but legendary
Full of
cards.
huge.
I didn't even care. I'm like, concede. Like,
Wow.
I had like 2 Murlocs on the field, and and he had like this whole thing of legendary creatures. I was just like, that's not even fair, man. But
That's why I don't play.
but I still had fun, and I've realized what I need to what I think I'll enjoy more, and Ryan has mentioned this before. What he enjoys doing in Hearthstone is the campaigns that come out with the new expansions and stuff like that. As single player, you're playing against a computer, you're not playing against people, and I think I just might start just doing that from now on, but no, I mean, had fun. I had fun. Like, did that and enjoyed that, and enjoyed watching a boxing match, and that was fun. But I was able to get
Who was boxing?
This one guy and this other guy.
Lawrence.
They're probably like
and
no name.
Beniski. Like both of them were like new to America. Like the Beniski guy, he was
I just got here.
This was his first debut in a first USA match, and he's from Canada. And the other guy has been in the USA for a while, but he's originally from Ghana. And everyone thought he was gonna win because he has like 20 KOs, and so the Beniski guy the Canadian was kind of the underdog, but he came in and he did a great job. And eventually, in round 10 of 12 rounds, the Lawrence guy gave up because he was sitting down, and his coach was like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "My jaw hurts." And they found out, "Hey, silence you. This is geeky sports."
Sorry, I was
Sports
falling
geek.
asleep there. What?
And
What are we
he
talking
broke
about?
it. He broke his
Sports.
jaw. So
Broke his jaw.
Oh, it broke his jaw.
yeah, so he's like,
Oh
my
my
jaw
God.
hurts, and the doctor came. And he's like, "Yeah, your jaw's broken," and so he had to give up.
Owl.
So the other
Is
guy,
he the?
That's considered a TKO, isn't it?
yes,
Were these big guys or what?
no, they're
What
lightweights.
weight class? Oh, okay.
Lightweight or featherweight. They're pretty small guys.
Wait.
So
Okay.
How many weight
They bo-
categories are
they
there? in
boxed
boxing?
last
I don't
night.
know. I can't
A
count
lot,
them all.
yeah.
So,
Like
but no,
the-
that was
Remember
lots
the good
of
old
fun.
days in boxing when there was only 4 categories.
Or lightweight.
Actually, the lighter weights are more entertaining.
yeah, they
than
are
the-
because they punch
I
more.
Uber
agree.
lightweight.
the Uber
The
lightweight.
Uber light
they're like,
featherweight.
yeah, they're like, these guys look really big. Oh wait, no, sorry, they're like all 5'2" and 112 pounds.
Yeah.
It's like
They're just ripped.
Well, the big guys they hit really, really hard,
But they're
Slow.
but they're slow.
They're slow and they run out of energy. Real
we're having a boxing tangent. What is this show? What
Hey,
are
man.
we doing?
That's
Welcome
like
to
that's one of the
ESPN
few.
today.
It's one of the few sports that I actually follow. So
No, I
Yay, go
totally
sports.
respect boxers because it's a very dedicated sport or it's a very dedicated sport. You have to be very physically fit all the time.
So
Whew.
yeah.
Man,
But
The
yeah.
closest I've come to
just
boxing
talking about
is, like,
boxing, it
Fight
makes me
Night
all tired.
on the PlayStation.
But I did a Sweet Kicks quick review of the tabletop game Captain's Wager by Gray Fox Games. And super fun game. This concept of the game is you're all air pirates, and you're a captain of an air pirate ship, and you get together with the other captains to gamble your treasure that you've earned, basically.
Yeah.
So
We found this.
yeah, and so you're playing kind of like a gambling poker game with other sky pirates, and
Do you get bonuses for talking in piratese?
no.
Tea.
But
Yeah.
super fun game. Really enjoyed playing it. The artwork of it is really, really cool. And that added a lot to the game itself. So I gave it a buy, which is because I either say a try before you buy or a buy it now, and I gave it a buy because I think anyone would enjoy it. So
Cool.
yeah,
Man.
that's
called Captain's
boom.
Wager.
Captain's
Is
Wager.
Captain's
Is
Wager.
it something that can be found like on Amazon
Yeah.
or?
There's a link in the notes I posted today, but yeah, you should. I believe you can find it on Amazon. Let me
Just use
let me
our
s-
Amazon link, and you too can
Let's-
have Captain's Wager by Gray Fox Games.
Indeed. Or you can go to grayfoxgames.com and
Cool.
look at it that way. So no.
What about you, Ryan? Did you do anything geeky this week?
I finished my book Revenant, and
Oh.
then I started Ready Player One.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
To let me know what you think about that one.
Yeah, Ready Player One was the one where like they have all the
La, la,
mobile
la, la,
homes
la.
on top of each other, right?
No.
Yes.
No,
Yeah, the mobile
Yeah,
homes stacked on
They
top
live
of
in the
each other.
stack.
Well,
The
I remember
stacks.
when John talked about it. He
Yeah.
talked about how they stacked the homes.
Yeah.
I don't remember when John talked about it. I know
It was like
he's read it, but
it was like
I
a
wrote-
year
I-
ago.
Yeah, I
It
did
was a
read
while.
Well,
Yeah.
it's because you
did
said,
you give
oh,
it
and
a
they were
thumbs
gonna
up
make
or
a movie.
what?
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
I started it, but I didn't
he
finish
said
it.
didn't you say you didn't want to read the next book though? It wasn't like good enough to read the next book.
There isn't a next book.
There isn't a next book. Okay, maybe that was a different series.
No, it's
Standalone
just a
book.
single shot. Yeah, single shot.
Okay.
Anyway,
Now the author did just come out with a new book called Armada.
Okay.
And in that one, it's almost like the premise of the book sounds a lot like The Last Starfighter, where like
that's a movie that I would like to see remade.
remade.
A reboot.
A
Last
reboot
Starfighter.
of The Last
Starfighter, huh?
Starfighter? That would be so cool. I would watch that.
I think if it was, I think it could be done interestingly, for the new millennia, I
Yeah.
suppose.
Yeah.
Anyway,
The one thing about the Player One book is it's kind of funny because it's all about 80s everything.
References. Yeah.
And they must have not had the rights or something, because in the whole book, it's all about video games from the 80s, video games this and this and this, but they never ever once mentioned Nintendo or Mario, who was like the biggest
it's because they didn't have
the biggest 80s
it's
icon
probably all
character
Atari,
ever,
right? Yeah.
and he's never. It's all
Atari
like
and Activision.
Atari games that they reference
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
It's
Well,
because they don't have the rights to it.
I
It's
figured.
also because most of the games they're talking about are arcade games.
Arcade. Yeah.
That's true too.
So far that I've read.
No, that's right.
How's
They don't really talk about home console stuff at all.
Did you do any cosplay stuff this week?
Yep.
All right. Just
Okay.
some more Wookiee
on
bits.
to you.
I made I'm not done, but I'm making dreadlocks for a Tarful mask.
Oh,
A
okay.
new Tarful or for this?
Yeah, I'm just making the dreadlocks,
Oh, okay.
and then I'm sending them out to somebody else.
Okay.
All right.
Nice.
Cool.
He likes my dreadlocks.
Well, you do really
This
good
will
with
be-
the hair.
You do good hair. Yeah.
This will be his third order of dreadlocks for me. So
Oh wow.
Wow.
Cool.
I each time I raise the price. Dreadlocks, they're just really time consuming. They make my arms sore.
Yeah.
So
Hey.
because I make them the real way, like you would act like a actual hairdresser would.
Right.
They're not like
I don't know.
fake.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like real dreadlocks.
That's cool.
Yeah.
All right, Mike. What'd you do this
Hi,
week?
Michael.
Sure. I have
Did
my
everything.
Star Wars tickets.
What? Awesome.
So I have my ticket, my wife's ticket, and my son's ticket all together in the 3D IMAX
Oh,
for
yes. Nice.
Saturday, the 18th.
Those
No,
are like
Saturday the
$20
19th.
tickets.
The 19th.
No, they were $11.75
For an IMAX?
matinee.
Oh, matinee. Okay,
Matinee.
yeah.
It's $12.50. We go a Saturday in the middle of the day.
Cool.
So that I figured I didn't want to do the 9:45 a.m. One, the seating wasn't as good, so because it's all reserved seating.
Oh.
There's
So very nice.
There's a friend of mine that is actually in the process of renting out an IMAX theater in Lubbock, Texas, which is the closest IMAX to us. And so I might be getting in on that.
Wow, cool.
Yeah. For the 3 tickets, including processing, it was $37.03.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think.
Totally worth it.
And
For
then
how
we'll
many
spend
tickets?
3.
3 3D
Dang.
IMAX.
Well, it's an IMAX.
That's like 2 tickets here.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, it was also
I bet.
one. It was also matinee price.
Yes.
So it was only
Little less.
$11.75 per ticket.
Okay,
No,
so matinee.
I
that
apologize.
makes
I think it was
sense.
Matinee helps.
$13.75 for the adults, $11.75 for my sons.
But you have your tickets.
But I have my tickets,
Woo!
and
Yeah.
it's in a really good row. So I feel like the sound and visual spectrum
Yeah.
will be really good in the theater.
Good.
Although there's really hard to get a bad seat in an IMAX typically.
But unless you're like on the very edge.
Even then, it's not
Then you're
horrible.
like-
But
Your-
yeah,
your neck's
it's true.
trouble.
Yeah, you're all like,
Sure.
what's over there? Yeah, so that was pretty cool. I also was contacted by my friend Joe Rogan, who is a high school drama teacher, and he was like, hey, I was down in, where he went down south somewhere. I can't remember exactly, but he's like, yeah, I
Provo.
did a no out of state, not
Way down south in
yeah,
Provo.
way down south. Yeah, but he did a stage combat class down there, and he's like, hey, there's a guy at the University of Utah who's certified and teaches certification courses. Are you interested in becoming certified again? And I was like, yeah, I haven't been certified for like 8 years or so or more now.
I
So-
remember when I was
so-
certified. That was wow, man.
Yeah,
that was a long time ago.
Certifiable.
Yeah, so I am going to work out with him on Monday at the schedule to become stage combat certified in 7 different weapons, and that does include hand to hand. So that'll be cool.
Cool.
So it'll be like sword, staff, sword and shield, rapier, hand to hand combat. So it'll be pretty cool.
And the backhand.
Yeah. Hiya! But it'll be fun.
I challenge you, sir.
And it's really affordable. It's a 100-hour course,
Wow.
and afterwards you have to pass the test for certification. So
You have to
show,
run the gauntlet.
yeah, you have to run the gauntlet. No, I don't know exactly
It's,
how.
it's
it
like
works,
one of
but,
those machines that have spinning things and you got to
Yeah.
run through it.
Yeah.
And then,
Wow.
yeah. I thought this was stage combat. You're not supposed to really hit me. No. So it'll be cool to be recertified. That way, when earlier this year, I did the Romeo and Juliet stage combat for Hunter High School for my friend Chersty, who's the drama teacher there. Oddly enough, I have a lot of friends who are drama teachers, but and that was lots of fun. They did really good in their competitions with that. So that's neat. I finished my Magnus Chase book by Rick Riordan. It was the Norse mythology. What's cool is, as I spoke about it earlier about Annabeth, his cousin, at the very end of the book, Frey, who is, Frey in the book tells Chase, hey, you need to, seek her out. She's going to be able to help you. And I was like, whoa, that's really interesting, seeing like a Norse god referencing the
Greek
daughter
gods.
of a Greek god
Yeah.
and saying, hey, you guys need to work together. And so at the very end of the book, he's like, you never would believe it. He's like, I'm not even, I don't really need to tell you my problems. And he's like, you wouldn't understand. And she's like, yeah, I bet I would. And
I'm
he's
pretty
like,
sure I'd
"No."
understand.
She's like, yeah. She's like, I actually know a lot more than you think. And he's like, fine, tell me your story and I'll tell you mine. And so she's like, okay. And so that's like where the book ends. And I'm like, oh, the next book is going to be like really interesting because we're doing the first real crossover in a
Yeah.
novel, I think.
Here's my boyfriend, Percy. He's the son of Poseidon.
I know, right? He's the son of Poseidon. So that'll be cool. Because then that would fully connect immediately all his book series. The Percy Jackson, the Magnus Chase, and the Kane Chronicles.
Kane Chronicles, yeah.
So, which is the Egyptian.
How would it
so
connect the Kane ones?
through the short story books, he had Percy meet with oh goodness gracious, the brother Kane. I forget their first names for some
but
reason.
just
all the
through
time.
like some
But yeah,
Yeah,
there's
little short
there's
stories.
a little
Other
like
stuff
there's
that
a
he's written.
it's like a 50-page book, little novelette
Short
called the Son of Sobek is where Percy and the boy Kane kills me. If you guys know it
Boy
out there,
Kane.
post it, make
The
fun
male
of me.
Kane.
Male Kane and the female Kane
That's right.
meets Annabeth, so that so they've met each other, but then they find out that they know each other, but they haven't met, so it's kind of interesting.
Peter.
Peter, yeah, right. Peter Kane, yeah. So
Peter.
there's that, and then there's, let's see here. Oh,
Carter.
Mythic Realms. Oh, Carter. Thank you.
Carter Kane.
Yeah, thanks,
Did
Barry.
you look
for
it up?
Googling
I did
that.
look it up.
Good
Google.
job.
Yeah.
I wasn't
Yeah.
sure if like somebody from the chat said.
No one.
You know, what's interesting is that you would think I would remember that because I remember when Rick Riordan had his the second book in his Kane Chronicles book came out in Germany, and he recalled all the books for the front cover because the front cover, the character of Carter was depicted as a Caucasian, and he's like, boop, time out. Carter is African American, you know, so he's like, oh yeah, that kind of does make a big difference. Well, no, let me rephrase. I don't think he's not. Oh, I guess yeah,
He's half.
he's Egyptian. He's
not
I guess that's
African-American.
African.
He's African.
Well, no, he's
No,
not. He's an American, but his dad was an Egyptian, and his mom was an American or a Brit.
No,
an
her
American,
mom's
British.
from
No,
England.
British. I apologize.
She's from England.
Yeah, she's British.
Does it matter?
It doesn't really matter.
Anyway, so
Your time is up.
Oh gosh,
Cuckoo clock
Cuckoo
says,
clock
I
said.
I can talk better than you guys this week.
Well, you could talk, that's for sure.
No, but
I don't know if that's better.
Mythic Realms for LARPing was
Longer.
awesome last night because we LARPed at Castle of Chaos, which is a haunted house. So since it is getting into the darker time of the year where we can't play outside because it's just too dark immediately,
Because your mom should come in.
And it's also getting cold in Salt Lake City.
Oh, guys, I gotta go. My mom's calling.
Yeah, and so that's funny. And then so we were able to play in the do like a dungeon dive in this haunted house. So it was very fun.
That's cool.
I will admit the speaker systems that were set up on triggers. I'm like walking through, getting to know like the maze because I was NPCing, and I'm like walking. All of a sudden, this speaker goes off, rah! And I'm just like, "Gee, what the heck was that?" And I'm like, I know that there's only like 20 people in the building, you know, at the time when I was walking through everything, but yeah, that it startled me. I will admit, and I got another startle. I startled myself when I came around a corner, and there was this mannequin of like one of those like creepy clowns, and I came around the corner and this clown was right there. I'm just God, dang it,
Stupid clown.
stupid clown.
You're gonna die,
You know,
clown.
it's like you're walking through a haunted house that's not even like fully geared or manned, and yet you're still freaking yourself out. Comical. All right, but we had a lot of fun. It's great. Castle of Chaos is awesome for allowing us to use the space for free.
Yeah, that's cool.
Because we volunteered a lot of our hours to get it up and running this season because they moved to the new location that they're at. But it's a fully, it's 100% underground haunted house. So it's pretty cool.
Cool.
That is cool.
Yeah. And that's good. I won't go into the Final Fantasy news because that's not that important.
You played it.
You
I
played
it well.
Yeah.
Got some game-
3.1 update came up, so
Got some
and
game
I
time
hit my
in.
60 botanist. I'm on to Fisher.
Yay!
Reeling in the fish. Yawn. Macro. You know, it's very
Yes, right.
boring.
All
But
right.
I'm determined to finish.
Well, let's go to our next segment of the show, the Weekly Geek. This is the Weekly Geek, where we talk about geeky news. That's it. That's it.
That's
So
it.
we
That's
just-
that's
We
about
just talk
what we
about
do.
geeky news. That's what
Talk
we do.
about geeky news. That's what we do.
Well,
So
we
before we
actually
get-
have news this week.
So before
I
we
thought
get
were
into
done.
some of the, just because it's coming out soon and all that stuff, there's always Star Wars news popping up. But there's a couple other things that came out that I'd like us to focus on. One thing that I found out about was, of course, that Activision, the video game company, has now created their own production studio. And they've already made announcements on things that they plan on working on. One of the things is they're going to create a Skylanders animated series.
Right.
And so that,
Bound to happen.
yeah.
would
They're
be
actually, I think one of the first things they're going to put out is a Call of Duty.
Yes. A
like
Call
an
of
animated
Duty.
Call of Duty.
No, it's not an
Uh,
animated Call of Duty. It's just
I
a
was
it's
gonna
a
say,
live action Call of Duty,
Live
but they
action? Oh,
they
okay.
want to make it a cinematic universe Call of Duty.
But-
That they're already setting that
What-
goal before
what
they've even
timeline,
created
though?
the what?
what timeline?
I-
Call of Duty is like everything from World War
Well,
One to
I'm sure
the
it's going to
future.
be the current stuff.
I'm sure it'll be like the
that's-
Modern
Oh.
Warfare and
Modern
stuff like that.
Warfare.
or
Yeah.
the Black Ops.
or the advanced.
Yeah, we're gonna-
advanced,
which
We're
like-
gonna follow SEAL Team 6. Woo.
Woo. But I mean, it's cool because it shows that the video game industry wants to get into more involved into the movie industry, where it's the actual studios are hand in hand involved with making these movies about their IP, rather than just saying, "Here, movie company, take this and ruin it," like you always
well,
do.
Sony is putting out the Ratchet and Clank movie
Yeah, which comes
Yeah.
out in
that's coming out
April,
next year.
which is awesome. And there's, I don't know what studio, I can't remember what studio, but the Sly Cooper. Who does?
Oh, really?
Who does Sly Cooper? I can't remember.
That's Sony.
Is it Sony as well? Well, that's coming out next year too. Animated movie.
Oh, I didn't.
So just watch the
Haven't heard of
trailer
that.
for that, and it looks really clean and good, like
Cool.
graphically clean.
Yeah.
But no, that's really it's like it's a stepping stone for other companies to get involved, and that was one of the cool things I loved about watching the Warcraft trailer. Is
Right.
it was Legendary Pictures, but right after that it was Blizzard Entertainment. Like
Right.
obviously Blizzard was heavily involved,
Yeah.
in the process of making this movie. It wasn't just Legendary Pictures buys Warcraft. It's Legendary Pictures worked with Blizzard to create this, movie.
Right.
And so that's really exciting. And then we also know that, because of BlizzCon, that Blizzard is also making those animated shorts for Overwatch.
Overwatch. Yep.
And so you're getting all this content, and I think we're going to be seeing more and more of video game IP and content coming to the big screen, or the small screen, where you have the Skylanders TV series, which will probably
Right.
be like a Netflix exclusive or something like that. I don't know where they're putting it
Don't know.
out, but
Right.
but it's exciting because there's lots of games out there that I would love to see be made into movies, especially like Uncharted, because that would be easy.
Well, I know that they've been trying to do an Uncharted.
They've been
movie
talking
for a
about
long
it,
time,
but it'd be really cool. And of course,
I don't know if we need an Uncharted movie, to be honest.
Well, we
I mean,
don't
I think-
need one,
I
but
think
it'd be
the
cool.
I think
itself
the
is
story.
the movie.
Yeah, I think the Uncharted. I think the storyline behind those games really stands on its own. I think if we did a movie, it would kind of. I don't know.
Well, if you could,
It's
Well-
kind of like the Tomb Raider.
Remember, movies aren't necessarily
Isn't
made
there
for
a
the
new one
fans.
out
They're made
right
for the
now?
really
masses.
do
The new-
anything for
the new Tomb Raider
the-
game, came out this week.
But but the movie, they didn't really do anything for the game series. It did,
Well,
they didn't make people want to go and play
Yeah.
Tomb Raider.
What game would you like to be seeing made into a movie? You know what I thought would be pretty cool?
Words with Friends.
Where's
Oh.
yes.
It's a wait. It's a romance.
Well, I do
They
like
meet by
I do
playing
like the
games.
stuff that
I'm surprised
you
they
know,
haven't
that-
done that
that-
yet.
like the Halo stuff. Like there was the Forward Unto Dawn and the Nightfalls. Those were pretty.
Those are all
They
fans.
Those are pretty
kind of already made them. They're on
Yeah,
Netflix.
I would
That's
just think
something.
that. Yeah, I mean, I would just think
The
that
Nightfall isn't,
the
but
more
Forward
like
Under Dawn is.
I think the Destiny, the world that they've created for the Destiny game, there's just so much to that.
That you
I'm
could
surprised they-
jump into that world without stepping on the toes of the storyline.
Well, I'm just surprised they haven't really done more with that yet. Like they haven't, because with Halo you've got novels and comic books
Yeah.
and
You have a lot of
and
content.
animated stuff and live action stuff. And now, granted, Halo's been around for
Ever.
a lot longer than Destiny has, but I think if if EA, no, who is it that that does Bungie? Is it EA
Bungie?
or is it?
I don't. Are
is
you
it-
asking who owns Bungie?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Is it
I
Activision?
don't know. Who's
No,
their
it's not
parent company?
Activision.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know why I'm
I
drawing a blank here. But,
I generally don't follow the parent companies
Yeah.
of a company.
But yeah, I mean,
Doesn't Disney own
they-
everything?
That's what I figure.
Microsoft owns Bungie. It looks like.
no, they did.
No, they did.
They
They
did.
did.
Well,
No,
then
not
they're
anymore.
probably their own company then. Now.
Yeah, possible.
Well, anyway, I'm sure.
No, they can't own themselves.
What?
Well,
They're too small.
but yeah, I mean, there's a number of worlds that could be turned into
Honestly, when it comes to movies,
multimedia.
most of it's gonna either be for children or it's gonna be some sort of shooter movie.
You know what I think
it's
would
like
be
gonna
cool?
an FPS movie.
Monkey
and
Treasure
or,
Island.
That might be fun.
Oh, Monkey
okay,
Island.
okay,
Yeah.
but
Monkey Island.
yeah,
That would be
I forget about the
pretty
I forget about
cool.
the classic.
But they would.
You could even do like Maniac Mansion.
They would be constantly,
Yeah. See, I wonder.
constantly compared with the
Pirates.
of the
I know,
Caribbean.
Of
but
course.
Well,
every
see, I wonder-
every single fantasy movie from here on out is going to be compared to Lord of the Rings.
And doesn't Disney own all of the LucasArts game stuff now?
Yes, they do. I believe.
So maybe that might be in
Pitch a
the
good
realm
script
of
and might
might
go
be
with
in
it.
the realm of
Well,
possibilities.
Disney owns Pirates of the Caribbean and
Right.
Monkey Island.
Maybe
They
they'll
could
do a
it in
crossover.
easy crossover.
Pirates of the Monkey Island.
Jack Sparrow meets what's his
Guy
name?
Bush Threepwood.
Guy
Yeah,
Bush.
Guy Brush.
Threepwood.
Yeah, Guy Brush.
So, but no, I mean,
That could be fun. I think we've talked about that before, though.
We have a little bit, but I just think that's cool that Activision did that, and we didn't really touch on it last time, but Activision also spending $5.6 billion to purchase King Company, which is the company that created Candy Crush. So
crazy, right?
So Activision now owns
So technically,
that.
Candy Crush is worth more than Star Wars.
It's true because
when
Star Wars
Disney-
was only
because
4.
When Disney bought Star Wars, it was like 4.1.
Yep.
So Candy Crush is worth more than Star Wars.
Well, Candy Crush makes
Let's just take that in.
Candy Crush makes
Well,
more money
hold
than
on.
Star Wars does, though.
Yeah, I was gonna
They
say,
make so much money, it's ridiculous.
I don't even know.
plus,
They make
let's see,
money
Disney
from off my wife.
There you go.
Yeah, and mine. Disney purchased LucasArts and Lucasfilm how many years ago? Now let's
2?
consider inflation.
Yeah, right.
Maybe.
2%.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, that's their worth went up a lot more. But yeah, so I think that's cool. I think the prospect of seeing more video games be made into movies is cool. I mean, people love generally.
Legend of Zelda.
Oh yes, that would be so cool.
That could be a movie.
It could.
I'd rather
Metroid.
see like an animated,
Metroid.
like even if it was like CGI. Did you see the?
The fan.
You guys
made-
probably haven't seen it, but the fan
Oh,
film, the Metroid fan
I
film,
watched it. It was
That
awesome.
was pretty
Metroid.
Yeah.
No, I
Yeah,
haven't
yeah.
seen that.
it was a Metroid fan film
It was.
starring
Okay. What's her name?
from Nerdist.
Yeah, she's a.
Felicia Day.
No,
No,
that's
no,
from
no.
Geek and Sundry.
Oh.
Naomi? No, that's IGN.
I don't know all the Nerdists by heart.
Chobot,
Nerd-
Jessica Chobot.
Nerdist
Oh.
girl.
Yeah, Jessica
I
Chobot.
just
Uh,
googled it. There she is.
I didn't need to. But she's the one that starred in that Metroid movie.
Yeah, and it was really good. It's completely.
It's pretty cool.
It's called Metroid.
Did it have a title?
Metroid: The Sky Calls.
Yeah. So it's on YouTube.
Is it like a 15-minute short or?
It's 12
It's
minutes.
12 minutes,
Okay.
and it's not
It's
like
11 minutes and 47 seconds.
Whoa.
it's not like heavy action or anything, but there's lots of It's really cool, and
it's just-
you could see it and be like, oh, I could totally see this
Oh,
being
all right.
done. So,
Yeah.
but anyway,
A lot of times fan stuff is pretty good.
Yeah. So Nintendo Direct news.
Yeah, this is actually the first Nintendo Direct that they've had since Iwata passed away.
Yes.
And so this is the new. The new
envisionment of
yeah,
what
well,
Nintendo wants to do.
It's like the new CEO and stuff, but there's a lot of stuff that they announced, but some of the big stuff for like the Wii U, they did announce that Cloud from Final Fantasy VII is coming to Super Smash Brothers,
which is cool because Smash Brothers
cool.
is fun.
Yeah, I've always enjoyed Smash Brothers ever since.
You know what?
GameCube.
You know what's exciting about this prospect is it's the first time in a long time
that Square Enix on Nintendo
has worked with Nintendo on anything, even if it was just content. I think the last thing I could ever think of was Final Fantasy Crystal Braves or Crystal something on the original Wii, which wasn't that great.
With a new, isn't Square Enix putting out a Final Fantasy? Is it called Final Fantasy Worlds or something like that? That's coming out.
Yeah, there's that.
I thought that was a mobile app.
Yeah, it's a mobile game.
Oh, no, that must not be what I'm thinking of then.
Yeah,
anyway, but yeah, they did confirm that the new Legend of Zelda is coming out next year. So that's pretty good news because
it's. I don't know. It's gonna come out.
Barry's at a loss for words.
They released.
Zelda.
They did some new gameplay video as well during this of the new Legend of Zelda.
I just want to touch on the new Legend of Zelda because it's total open world.
Open world. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I was listening to a podcast earlier today, and they were talking about Fallout 4 and just how open world and how just there's so much, right? And I've realized that I'm not an open world type of game player. I've realized I
like things to be linear.
I like an A to B narrative. Like I like the narrative, the storyline saying.
So that's why you don't play MMOs? MMORPG?
I don't know. I guess it's just like, that's why I liked Uncharted so much, is because, I mean, sure, you had a little bit of freedom, not a lot, but it's like, you need to do this now, so go do that. And I'm like, okay, I gotta do this, so go do that. And you could do that in open world because you have a bunch of quests, but there's just so much of it. There's too much. There's too much.
Well, usually in
content.
Games like that, I mean, even in an
Barry
open
doesn't
world,
do MMO.
even in an open world game like Fallout 4, there's still a storyline that you can follow. But then there's just all of these side things that can be done.
But you have to build your village or your city, and you have to maintain it. You have to keep your people alive. I'm like, keep yourself alive while I do the storyline, okay? So it's just
I'm gonna go over here.
I'm gonna go over here and do my own thing. Yeah, so it's just like it's not that I don't like all open world games, because I mean, I played the Batman games and really enjoyed them. I played, the Infamous games, and those were really cool too. But I mean, I've realized I'm more like just following a storyline. Just
okay.
All those areas.
So back to Nintendo.
Sorry, back to Nintendo now.
So speaking of Legend of Zelda, they did confirm that they are doing an HD revamp of the Twilight Princess, which was it was the first Zelda game that came out on the Wii.
The Wii.
That was like the one that simultaneously came out on the GameCube and the Wii.
And it's a really good Zelda game.
I enjoyed
it a lot.
They're releasing that kind of a remake of that. They did say that Star Fox Zero, which is the next Star Fox game coming out for the Wii U, it is supposed to come out sometime early next year. They said April. So we'll see how
quarter or beginning of second quarter type of thing.
So they just, I like that Nintendo does this every once in a while. They have these direct news cast that they'll
updates.
Just kind of they just kind of update where things are at,
which is interesting because for the last several years, Nintendo has not had a physical presence at E3.
Well, they've had a physical presence.
They had it,
just
but
haven't done.
They didn't do
a
big press conference. They didn't do a press conference, but I bet you they do a press conference this year. Because
it depends on if they're going to announce
they're going to announce their new console system.
Maybe.
I think that will happen this E3. So
we'll see.
But anyway,
June is a long time away.
It's true.
A lot can happen between then and now.
But yeah, so some fun Nintendo news came out.
Nintendo's been around for over 140 years or something like that. So it's not gonna go away anytime soon.
But it started off as a card company. But
hey, they've always been a gaming company, and so I don't think they're going to go anywhere.
So something cool that happened was that Disney and Lucasfilms and everything, they gave a dying Star Wars fan his wish to watch The Force Awakens before it came out, and it was uncut, but unedited. But like JJ,
so it's like watching the director's edition.
When JJ Abrams found out about him, JJ himself called them like the next day, and then like the day after that, they gave them the movie.
A lot of the actors were lobbying for him to see the movie because
JJ Abrams called him before
he was terminally ill and probably wouldn't make it to the movie.
And he didn't because
he did pass away.
He died.
He passed away a week later or 5 days later after watching the movie.
He saw what he was trying to stay alive to see.
There you go.
So his bucket list was full.
That was just really cool for Disney.
I'm gonna fake having cancer.
Disney to
watch it. I can just see someone try
don't say that.
Yeah.
No, I mean I wouldn't do it.
I know.
I'm just saying somebody is going to try.
Yeah, it's really interesting how they did it. Two Disney executives went to the home, and they had a enclosed box media unit that they had with them.
With
and
armed guards.
Probably.
No, they didn't say anything about armed guards, but there might have been security somewhere. But and they basically they had a power cord, and they hooked it up via HDMI to their entertainment center, and then when they were done, they unhooked it and were like, "Thank you, we're walking away with this box."
Yeah, it's not like they gave him a
DVD or something.
Oh yeah, I know.
They actually showed up at his home and then screened it for him and then took it with them.
Yeah, it's like
He pirated it. It'll be out on the internet today.
Yeah,
made sure no cell phones were in the room.
But they also had unsigned NDAs, but they could talk about whether or not they liked it or not. And they did say they very much enjoyed it, of course, right?
No, I think it's awesome.
It's so awesome.
No,
it's
that they would be willing to do that.
And JJ called before the showing.
Yes.
And talked to him for about 15 minutes, and then they watched the show.
Yeah, it was really cool. So yeah, lots of cool things, and we said there wasn't things to talk about, but we ended up talking enough time before we get to geeky trivia.
Really, we're going straight to trivia. We're not going to talk about anything. Okay, fine.
Whoa! John was like, "There's still stuff to talk about."
What? Like that? There are new characters revealed for Star Wars. I mean,
spit it out really quick.
Okay.
That's really
let's put the Star Wars stuff aside.
Okay.
The stuff that I thought was pretty cool was all of the information that came out about the Fantastic Beasts.
Oh, I forgot about that because we've been talking a lot about Star Wars.
We've been talking about Star Wars quite a bit.
Yeah.
Harry Potter. We can talk about Harry Potter.
It's the spin-off from the Harry Potter movie. It's actually J.K. Rowling actually wrote the screenplay for this movie.
Co-wrote it.
So she's been working hand in hand with them to get this created. And
Eddie Redmayne is the main actor in it.
Yeah, Entertainment Weekly put out a lot of information in last month's issue, because next month's issue is the one that's all about Star Wars. But or this month's issue is the ones about Star Wars. Last month's issue had the cover from Fantastic Beasts. So they talked a lot about it, and essentially, and a lot of the stuff I didn't even know, but the whole movie takes place in America.
Yes.
None of it takes place in England.
Which is cool because we're finally going to get a reference or meet American wizards.
Right.
That's going to be
cool.
So,
but it takes place in...
J.K. Rowling is so British. How can she do Americans?
I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how it happens, but it takes place in 1926.
Yes.
Okay,
So
that's how she can do
It
it.
takes place like 90 years ago, but because it's in like New York City, it actually feels a little bit more modern than the Harry Potter did, because the Harry Potter was like always, in a big castle in medieval settings. They always wore robes.
Yeah.
And but so this one, even though it takes place 90 years in the past, it's almost going to feel a little bit more modern than Harry Potter did.
It's because they're not students in robes.
Right.
They're in everyday wear.
Well, they're adults that are already graduated.
And that's the other thing that they said, is that there aren't going to be really
It's not a
kids.
school?
Yeah, it's not a kids movie.
Well, they said it's
not about
going to be a little
kids.
bit more grown up, as they put
Yeah.
it, than previous installments of the
because
Harry
it's
Potter
not
universe.
because it's not about kids. It's about these grown people that are trying to
Which is
resolve
cool because everyone that grew up with Harry Potter are now adults.
now adults, right?
So it's
So
just like
I guess
they're still catering to that original audience.
so. From what I gather, the whole premise of the movie, Newt Scamander, who's the one that actually wrote the Fantastic Beasts
And where to find them.
book, he has this basically a briefcase that he carries around with him, and of course it's magical, and it's bigger on the inside. So when he opens it,
The TARDIS briefcase.
It's
Mary Poppins.
No, it's
he can actually go into
bag of
his
holding.
briefcase, and it's like it's like a briefcase of holding. But what it is he has like his collection, essentially, like all of these beasts and creatures and stuff. He like has places for them in his case.
He's the collector.
And so
Yeah.
and so essentially, I guess what happens is some of these creatures get out, and so it's he and like 3 other wizards that are working together to try to catch him.
And one of
the premise of Goosebumps movie.
kind of.
Yeah,
One of the wizards,
Pokemon
though.
or Goosebumps.
Yeah, it's Pokemon. Gotta catch him all.
One of the
Yeah.
wizards, though, is Ron Perlman.
Really?
He plays a wizard in the
Somehow I
movie.
missed that.
So
But yes, it looks like it's gonna be pretty fun.
and this is going to be just the first installment of several more movies they plan on having.
I
So
think they're planning on making it a trilogy.
we'll see.
Well,
So,
they haven't
and
announced it.
It's going to make a
but-
ton of money.
Oh, it's gonna make ridiculous amount of money.
Anything that has anything to do with Harry Potter.
I bet you
you.
it could even give Star Wars a run for its money.
Yeah, it'll be. I mean, because it's the fan base is humongous.
huge.
And,
It's
Well,
not
and
coming
it's-
out at the same
yeah.
time.
no.
But
But it's just as
I'm
far
just
as like
saying,
overall
overall
potential.
fun.
Oh, you're
overall
talking
money.
about box office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, because like I think, Harry Potter's more, I think, spread out around the world than Star Wars is. Would you say? I mean, Star Wars is everywhere.
Star Wars is spread across the galaxy, man.
Yeah, I'm like
Galaxy.
I would say the fan base is equally wide. However,
I was
in my
talking
opinion,
to.
Star Wars has probably more substantially.
But I mean, to defend what Barry's saying, there are. I mean, I know plenty of like the younger generation that haven't even seen the Star Wars movies,
Yep,
but
yep.
they've read all of the Harry Potter books.
Yep.
And seen all the Harry Potter movies, but they haven't really seen Star Wars. It's just it's interesting that it seems to be the case. I'm continually running into like friends of my own children who haven't seen Star Wars, and I'm like, what?
Are you not
How
American?
How can you not? have seen Star Wars.
As a
have it playing in your house
yeah,
nonstop.
That's right.
as a precaution, we are doing a Star Wars marathon before we go see the film as a
yes.
precaution. 'Cause
So am I. So I watched
Yeah.
A New Hope.
I say as a
I'm
precaution
gonna watch
because
it in
I'm
a machete order.
Machete. Woo.
So my
Yeah.
kids will never know Jar Jar Binks.
That's right. At least not in the
Ooh.
goofy form that he was in episode.
That's
They'll
fine.
know
Oh,
him only from like.
Oh, because you
Star
don't watch
Wars.
episode 1, correct?
Yep.
No, you don't watch it.
You watch
You don't
episode
even watch it.
4,
Watch 4 and 5.
5, 2, and 3.
And then
Two,
2 and 3,
and then
and then
6.
6.
That's right. You just skipped 1 entirely.
Yeah.
Just cut.
But,
just cut.
yeah.
One completely.
I know while my wife has seen them all, I'm not sure how well versed she is, and I want to make sure she really understands the
I
seven.
want you to appreciate this movie.
This means
Yeah.
so much to me.
I need you to talk to me about this.
This is
after the film
detrimental
and not just go,
to our marriage.
That was nice.
I think I'll do the same thing. But anyway,
Now
it's time for
the cuckoo
the Cuckoo Clock
says
has
it's time
deemed its
for
geeky trivia.
Okay.
Woo!
Woo!
All right,
There
hey,
you go.
there we
Now,
go.
now it's actually time for that.
It's
right?
official now. All right, John has geeky trivia this week.
Wow.
I do.
Oh.
You,
Oh,
it's in the show
John-
notes.
It's in the show notes.
It is.
show
It
notes.
says geeky trivia, John.
You should know.
I didn't put it there.
John put it there.
So,
John
trivia-
put it there.
Yeah, I put it there. So trivia today is space.
Ooh, the final frontier.
So
Ooh.
it's no, like real space.
Oh,
I was totally
NASA
bragging
space.
to you
So
about.
not Star Wars or Star Trek.
So-
We're talking
Real science.
real science,
Okay.
real space. All right.
I was bragging about you guys to all my fellow coworkers about my awesome geek brothers. So
Sweet.
Yes.
I
yeah.
I don't have a cool thing like NASA or cosplay though. But I guess I am the something.
You're the social media expert.
That's right. I am the pop culture gamer. I'm the gamer.
You make sure this podcast happens.
That's right.
There you go.
All right.
All right.
Michael.
Be
Aggressive.
Okay.
Be
Are-
aggressive.
All right.
Beamer.
The okay. Question 1.
Okay.
The New Horizons spacecraft, which is the one that recently gave us the pictures from Pluto, that spacecraft has quarters from which 2 U.S. states on board?
Texas and Alabama.
Incorrect.
Oh, that was a good guess though.
You were trying for Houston.
All right.
I see what you were doing
and
there.
Florida.
Florida.
Ooh, Florida's
Florida,
one.
Ah,
Florida
so not
and-
Texas.
Maryland.
Washington,
Florida and Maryland is correct.
because Washington D.C.
Good
Yeah.
job, Michael. No,
Hey, I said
actually,
Florida
the reason
first.
why they did
Yeah.
Florida.
Ryan
Yeah.
should get a point and Mike should get a point because
Well,
Ryan
that's where,
said
that's where
Florida
it was
first.
shot
Doesn't
from,
matter.
right? That's where it lifted
Well,
off from.
No, it's interestingly enough because the New Horizons is powered by it's
Quarters?
powered nuclear. It's nuclear powered. It had to be approved by the governor of the state where it was being
Built.
built. And so at the time that it was built and launched, the governor at that time was Jeb Bush. And so they wanted to do like some kind of a commemorative thing in the state of Florida. So he approved putting the quarter in there. Well, in order to counterbalance the fact that they had a quarter on one, they had to counterbalance it.
The weight.
So
yeah.
the reason why they did the Maryland quarter is because that's where
The capital is.
no, that's where the main scientist behind the New Horizons project is from Maryland.
Oh,
That's
So-
not my logic, but that works too.
sure.
That's pretty cool. Okay,
Cool.
so the European Space Agency's spacecraft Venus Express is studying Venus and what?
The sun.
No, it's
Okay, multiple choice. I'll give you
It
multiple
was a good
choice.
guess because it's
Okay.
close. to the-
charting solar flares,
Well, that's the sun.
recording gravitational anomalies, mapping Mercury's
Mercury.
surface, or searching for life on Earth?
Searching for life on Earth.
Uh,
I'm gonna go with mapping Mercury. 'Cause I
I'm
know
gonna go with
somebody said that.
gravitational poles.
Flares.
Oh, we're all.
The correct answer is searching for life on Earth. Now, you may think that's a little odd.
From that distance, or
because we know that obviously there's life on Earth. But yeah, Barry, you're correct. What they've done is they wanted to see if from Venus, if something, orbiting the planet of Venus, taking pictures of the planet Earth, if they would be able to tell based on the current technology, if they were able to actually see if they could tell there was life on
kind of
on
like
Earth.
us
And
orbiting like Mars or something like that.
Any
Well,
discoveries on that yet?
I didn't read the details as far as like if they've come out with anything conclusive, but I think they did say that they were able to tell that they could see the evidence of life on.
Well,
but,
yeah.
so I thought
With-
that was kind of
with
interesting.
All the different spectrums that you can look at, you could definitely see that something's happening on the
Right.
planet. It's not normal.
We're a happening place.
All right, question.
We're happening place.
What classification is bestowed upon the largest stars in the universe?
Super class, super
Supergiant is correct.
giant, yeah. Yeah.
All right, question 4. The only person to be interred on the moon is who? Multiple choice?
Lance Armstrong.
No.
Not Lance Armstrong.
He's still alive.
Neil
Armstrong. Sorry, Lance
Not
Armstrong.
only is he still alive, but
No,
he's not
it
an
was
astronaut.
Astronaut. No, he's not. Hey,
Neil Armstrong.
Neil Armstrong.
Sally Ride, Buzz Aldrin, or
Ooh.
Eugene Shoemaker?
I'm gonna stick with
I'll
Neil
go with
Armstrong.
Shoemaker.
Shoemaker.
The correct answer is Eugene Shoemaker. So I think Michael said it.
Mike said it first.
Yeah.
All
All these names are very familiar, but it's interesting that I'm like, huh.
Right. So
I
Shoemaker,
didn't
he
realize
worked.
his ashes were on the moon.
Yeah, Shoemaker, he worked a lot with the Apollo program.
Right. That's why I recognize the name.
Yeah.
But
And he also helped discover the Shoemaker-Levy comet, the one that crashed into Jupiter.
the
years ago.
multiple the
And
multiple
then,
okay.
So then, yeah, they put his ashes on one of the probes that was going to the moon. One of the ones that like purposefully crashed into the moon
Right.
in order to study the ice and stuff on there. So his ashes were on that probe.
Cool.
All right.
Dude, we crashed you into the moon.
That's right.
Take that.
All right. The largest dwarf planet in our solar system is what?
Pluto.
Incorrect.
That's not a planet.
Cirrus.
It's got to be a moon.
They're a planetoid.
Oh, I know.
Io.
No, not
Planet
Cirrus.
X.
Io?
No, it's
It's not Ceres.
no Ceres. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Titan.
No,
Those are moons.
I know.
no. Isn't there like a giant asteroid that's now a dwarf planet?
Earth.
I can't remember what.
Okay. The name of the dwarf planet is Eris.
Eris.
So
Eris.
Eris is
Not
actually
Ceres.
27% larger than Pluto, and is really the reason why Pluto ended up losing its classification, because they're like, well, if this object is bigger than Pluto, then we can't
How is
really
it-
call this a
How
planet.
do we find Pluto and not the other one? Is it
It was
further
in the-
away?
No. It was in the Kuiper Belt, and so they just, they eventually found it.
Oh, wow. Jeez.
All
the
right,
Kuiper
so
belt. That's the
that's the
belt of
big asteroid
asteroids.
belt that's between Mars and Jupiter.
right, not the one outside the solar system where Pluto is. Anyway, all right, moving on.
Right. Okay. What common household device was originally created for NASA's Skylab
Microwave.
space station? The answers are LED bulbs, smoke detectors,
Oh, I know this one.
mercury-free thermometers, or microwaves.
Smoke detectors.
Mercury-free thermometers.
Microwaves.
Smoke detectors is correct.
Ah.
So
You're welcome.
detecting smoke on a space station is very important.
Yeah,
So they developed the technology
Yeah.
and then ended up using that same technology to
Do
create.
they break out a big pan and start waving to get the smoke away from the alarm? Right.
Yeah,
They have
I want
more
an
fans,
alarm.
so-
Yeah, I want an alarm that turns off when I scream, "I'm cooking here."
Right?
It's just bacon.
Yeah, it's just bacon.
All right. Next question. If you want to survive an unprotected spacewalk, you better not what?
Blink. No,
Go out with the
Open
suit.
your eyes.
Go without a suit.
Breathe.
You can technically survive in space for about 2 minutes.
That's correct.
You're not supposed
As
to.
long
you're
as
supposed-
you do what?
Don't breathe.
As long as you
You breathe out all the oxygen in your lungs, close your
That's
eyes,
correct.
and curl up in a little ball.
as long as you do not hold your breath.
You have to blow all
do
your
not hold
air
your
out.
breath.
Because,
Because it would freeze the air in your lungs.
No,
No,
the
'cause
change
it
in pressure.
expands.
Oh, the change in pressure.
The change
That's
in
right.
pressure makes the air in your lungs expand,
And you
and
go-
so you have to exhale.
Well, it would make you exhale.
Well, if you tried to hold your breath, then you would rupture.
I don't
Like-
know if you'd rupture. I think it would
You
just
wouldn't
go
explode.
out.
I say
like
we
that.
take criminals into
It
space.
would be like
and
somebody
experiment.
squeezing
No,
you.
Just kidding. Just kidding.
Yeah.
You don't got to worry about the cold. You don't got to worry about the.
You know how I
air.
knew that?
What you have to worry about?
Because of Ender's Game.
Radiation.
No.
Yeah.
Because-
Radiation.
I knew that because of Event Horizon.
You can get
Oh,
a
event
severe
horizon.
you can get a severe sunburn if you're on the sun side but
Well, if you were out, what was it?
it depends. But
You can live longer than 2 minutes. They say you could probably live up to 6 minutes before you will get enough radiation that you will die
kill you.
eventually.
Oh, it's I wasn't considering the radiation.
all right.
Well,
next
you
question.
should.
Yeah, I got one.
The second Apollo moon mission was almost aborted because of what?
The
Rats. Big
Oh,
rats.
because somebody
loose-
had to go to the bathroom and they just told him to go in his suit.
No. Okay. Multiple choice. A, lightning strikes. 2, crows nesting.
It's got to be something
D,
ridiculous
fuel
like that.
leaks. And 5, hurricanes.
Crow's nesting.
Crow's nesting sounds.
Yeah, that sounds fun. Let's do that.
All right. That was my guess at first too, but
Okay,
no,
fuel
it's
leak?
actually lightning strikes.
Lightning strike.
Oh,
So they
That is
launched,
scary.
and as soon as they launched, the
Zap.
rocket became the biggest lightning rod in the area, and lightning struck the rocket, and it it didn't necessarily knock out their systems, but nothing that they all of their systems everything was showing that everything was on. It's like everything's on now. It's like that's not correct. And so they weren't getting correct telemetry. And they
Readings,
weren't
yeah.
getting correct telemetry on the ground either.
it's called telemetry, not readings.
And so they actually
Readings is what you do with the book.
they actually got struck a second time. And at that point, they're like, okay, we may need to abort. But then one of the engineers on the ground remembers hey, I think we did something like this in a scenario, in a simulation.
We can turn it off and turn it back on.
That's exactly what they did. There's a little switch that you could flip. If you flip it, then everything should be fine. So they flipped the switch and everything was fine, and they continued on with their mission.
That's hilarious. I love
So,
it.
It's kind
try
of.
turn it
Did
off
you try
and
turning it
on.
off and on again?
It just goes
When
to
in
show
doubt,
that
reboot.
IT,
Reboot.
Yeah,
IT guy.
Even in the 60s.
That's right. Okay, next
Oh,
question.
that was good.
The first satellite to orbit the sun did so when it missed what target?
Venus.
The moon.
The moon is correct.
Mercury,
The moon. Okay.
So
I don't even know.
the Russians, this was
Oh.
the first satellites that they were launching. So the Russians had planned on launching a
Sputnik.
satellite, and it was supposed to impact with the moon. Well, there was an early
How do you miss the moon?
Well, you would think, right? But
Oh, yeah, boy.
you got to plan it pretty well.
Yeah. Well, just 1 degree off, it could go way
Right.
in the.
And so what happened was the rockets fired too early, and it caused it to miss. And so then it ended up just like getting caught in the gravitational pull of the sun and started orbiting the sun. They're like, oh, hey, this is great.
We'll take this.
We meant to do that.
So they even changed like the name of the satellite to reflect the fact that it was going around the sun instead of the moon. And I thought that's
It used to be called the Moon Crasher. Now it's the Sun
Orbiter.
All right. Next question. The largest model of the solar system ever built is located where?
In the salt flats, right?
No, like
No.
the Chilean
Which one are you
desert.
talking about? But that's
Are you talking about the
That's not the biggest one?
the new video that guy did to
Yeah,
represent?
but that's not what he's talking about.
But
That's
that was a
probably
cool
bigger.
video, though.
This is the largest. This one's even bigger than that one.
Wow.
Really?
Yes.
It
The
is
largest
in
model.
the.
Okay. Multiple choice. Sweden,
Oh, that's
Mexico, the United States, or Canada.
Mexico.
Mexico.
I'm gonna go.
Why do we say Mexico?
I'm gonna go with
That's a
Sweden.
guess.
Sweden.
Sweden is correct. They actually did it on
That
a.
makes sense because they have the clock there too, right?
They did it on
Well,
like
I-
1 to 20 scale, which when you think about that, that's pretty
Gosh.
huge. And so the center, they built like this spherical building, and it's the biggest spherical building in the world. And then that was the sun. And then according to scale, they did it out to, and eventually like the furthest, they said the furthest object that they have, and this is not just the planets, this is like, they did other objects and stuff as well, but like the furthest recorded object in the solar system they've got as part of this model,
Planet
it's
X.
like 914 kilometers away from the center
Wow.
of and it's just it's
Gee.
pretty huge. And like they've got like one of like Mars is like the model of Mars is in some mall somewhere, and so they've got the
You know, I
spread
guess
out.
Sweden because out of all of those countries, I figured they were the ones most scientifically minded. Isn't that terrible?
That's racist.
That's country.
The
Your
United
country is.
States,
All
the
right.
United States, Canada, and Mexico, they all have. Wait, does Mexico? Mexico
so-
doesn't have a space program, do they?
I do not.
They got a cocaine program.
When they have a cartel program.
The cartel
All
program.
right.
Oh man.
All right. The next question: when Pluto lost its designation as a planet,
It
it also
cried.
lost its what?
It's pride.
Dignity.
So it lost its Smithsonian display, it lost its name, it lost its planned probe mission, and it lost its moons.
Well,
It lost.
Smithsonian.
It's
yeah,
the
I'm like
probe.
No. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
I
I don't know. It could be any of
lost
those.
its name. It
Why would it lose
technically
the
doesn't
moon?
show anymore.
Officially, it lost its name.
Because it
So-
wasn't a planet. It was a
About that.
planet.
It's no longer a
void.
planet,
So
so
it was given a designation.
It was given a number designation as a Plutonian object.
But everyone calls it Pluto still.
But everybody still calls it Pluto because that's what everybody's always going to call it. But officially, in the International Astrological Society, it is no longer called Pluto. It is called like XJ12576 or some weird.
We are
designation.
lame, and we had to rename
Right.
it.
Oh, it's all Aries' fault. Eris.
Yeah, I was like
Ares,
not
the god
Ares.
of war.
No,
Isn't that-
Eris, the
Yeah.
goddess
That
of chaos.
Mars?
No, Eris, which is the goddess of chaos. So very appropriately named. Okay, NASA was created under which U.S. president?
Truman.
Truman is incorrect.
Ford.
Dang it.
No, not Ford.
Johnson.
Ford was after Kennedy, dude. Obviously, NASA was around.
Yeah.
Lincoln.
Kennedy, no.
Was it Kennedy?
All right,
Roosevelt.
you guys are fired.
Oh,
Eisenhower.
oh, dang it, Ike.
So, yep, because the Russians started doing their stuff, and so
It was in the Constitution.
That's
So it
right.
must have been George Washington.
Washington.
right.
What?
John Hancock, he wrote the Constitution, right?
Right. Okay. So next question. The strongest winds in our solar system are found on which planet?
Ooh.
Jupiter.
Mars. Yeah, Jupiter. In the big hurricane.
I'm gonna say
thingy.
Neptune.
Neptune is correct.
Good guess.
Okay. Actually, Neptune has winds over 1,300 kilometers per hour.
Wow.
You know what?
That
the
would-
crazy-
Don't
That
want to
would
live
like
there.
level a mountain.
Yes.
That would
In
level
those-
a mountain.
Right.
In
So
those
it-
windstorms, it's actually blowing diamonds it's like crystallized methane or something like that. It's crazy.
So yeah, if getting
Crystal
these-
meth.
Yeah, I know.
Let's
Right?
go to Neptune. Put me on the next transport. See, that's the way that J.K. Rowling thinks Americans talk.
Yeah. Man.
Right. The-
We're all from the 80s in California,
uh,
in the valley.
The first real astronaut to appear on Star Trek was who?
Buzz Aldrin.
First real astronaut.
Oh yeah. Huh.
First real astronaut to appear on Star Trek was
I don't know.
A. Yuri Gagarin, B. Mae C. Jemison, C. Sally Ride, D. Neil Armstrong.
Oh.
I'm gonna go with Sally Ride.
Neil Armstrong.
The correct answer is Mae C. Jemison.
Oh,
She was a friend of LeVar Burton.
oh, okay.
So they thought it would be really fun to put an actual astronaut in Star Trek. So during one of the Next Generation episodes,
That would make sense that it was LeVar Burton's friend.
yeah, right. Okay, next question. In Russia, it is a tradition for cosmonauts and astronauts to do what before blasting off into space?
Drinking a vodka shot.
Yeah.
Well, that's probably true too.
Smoke a cigar.
No.
No, they break a bottle of champagne on the rocket.
So, all right. Okay, multiple choice. 1, do a handstand. 2, salute the Kremlin. 3, plant a tree. Or 4, sing their national anthem.
Sing their national anthem.
Handstand.
The correct guess is plant a tree.
Because that way, if they die, they have a way to remember them.
Yuri Gagarin, who was the first Russian astronaut to successfully orbit the planet, before he launched, he planted a tree at the Cosmodrome, which is in Kazakhstan, which is basically their equivalency of Kennedy Space Center, and ever since then they're like, nope, now it's always going to happen. And so
It's good luck.
and so it's really interesting because the Russians are huge on tradition when it comes to everything that they do to prepare these astronauts to go on their launches. They go through this huge line of things that they have to go through, including practically being baptized by the Russian Orthodox Church
Oh.
before they launch and all that stuff. But one of the things that they do is that each group of astronauts that gets launched, they plant a tree. So now there's actually a grove of trees going back to as far as like 50 years ago, up to brand new trees that just got planted.
Cool.
Okay, final question.
Okay.
This was kind of a fun, cool question. Okay, which creature cannot survive in a microgravity environment?
Cannot survive.
Which creature cannot survive in a microgravity environment?
A spider.
Cockroach.
A, butterflies, B, snakes, C, praying mantises, or D, birds?
Ooh, I'm gonna go with birds.
Praying mantis.
Ryan?
Butterflies.
No, the correct answer is birds.
Because they're gizzards, I bet.
thought it
They
was
wouldn't be
birds,
able
too.
to
They-
digest
they
their food.
Eat, because birds cannot swallow.
Yeah.
The way that they eat is they choke down their food, and gravity pulls their food down until it finally gets into
Oh.
their stomach.
Yay,
That's why when
me.
like
Makes sense.
For example,
That's why I said, ooh, birds.
one of the greatest examples is, when you see a pelican like get a fish and then it just goes oh, and the fish goes down, and that's so when they're in microgravity, they can't do that.
Because it's
the
like
pigeons. So the pigeons they took up to the space station all died.
Unfortunately, that's correct. So they did.
That's how they found out.
And
did they just put them out the poop chute when they're done? Oh, they all died.
Not only did they, eventually pass away because they couldn't eat, but they also don't fly very well in microgravity. It freaks them out.
Yeah.
But other like fish swim just fine in microgravity. They even had like fruit flies. They've had fruit flies up in space a number of times, and they seem to fly just fine in microgravity.
It's weird.
But birds, they've even had butterflies, and butterflies work just fine. But for some reason, birds can't.
Birds get all.
They get all wonky and can't fly, and then of course
Did they know that the birds would die because they couldn't eat,
No.
or did they just not think about it?
They probably didn't even think about it.
That's why they send up science experiments up there.
Like science.
Science, let's kill all the beasts and see which ones can live and which ones can't.
Can die.
Cosmology.
All right, who won, John? I think Mike.
Michael
Mike
won
won.
by a landslide.
Yeah,
No
he
tomorrow.
kicked our booties.
Successfully guessed the
Yeah,
majority.
he did.
I once I heard the multiple choice, things would click in my brain.
Uh-huh.
Don't know why, but it did.
There you go.
I know why.
And now
'Cause I am my father's son.
It is the end.
Yes.
Now you're a little bit smarter. than
That's
you
right.
were.
That's cool. That was a fun one. Thank you everybody for
That was
listening
intense.
and or watching to the Closet
No, it was
Geek.
in
It's in
space.
space.
Space! Oh! And you can find out
You're
all
not going to
our.
let Barry finish talking.
No.
You can
because
find
the
out.
movie gets over.
I did that. You can find out all our information on theclosetgeek.net. And don't forget to like our show on iTunes and give us a 5-star review because that helps us get found a little bit easier when people are searching for great shows like ours to listen to. And don't forget to like our Facebook page to stay up to date to everything that we have going on. Christmas is coming, people, so let us use our Amazon affiliate link to do your online shopping. If you want to buy some cool gaming stuff, use our Razer affiliate link. And if you want to buy a gaming PC, you go to Doghouse Systems and use a code ClosetGeek so you can get a free 120 gigabyte SSD on your purchase just for using the code ClosetGeek. Thanks, everybody. Join us next week. We are the 4 Horsemen of Geek, reminding you to wave your geek flag proudly. You've been listening to a Closet Geek Studios production. For all information about Closet Geek Studios, visit theclosetgeek.net for all your geeky needs, or follow us on Twitter and Facebook.